pleasure to be here, to see all of my friends, the visible ones and the invisible ones. And we know that the invisible ones are here because we feel their essence in the environment in which we find ourselves right now. So for this week's Gospel Moment, I bring to you a passage that's found on chapter 11. It is item 5. It is Matthew 22, 15 through 22, or Mark 12, 13 through 17. And in this passage, the Pharisees went out and laid a plan to trap Jesus. And they sent their disciples and the Herodians to go and speak with Jesus. And when they approached Jesus, they said, "Teacher, we know you are a man of integrity, and that you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. You aren't swayed by men because you pay no attention to who they are," because Jesus pays attention to the Spirit, not to the man. "Tell us, what is your opinion? Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not?" And then Jesus, knowing their evil intent, looked at them and said, "You hypocrites." Excuse me, I forgot that. "You hypocrites, show me the coin which you are to pay these taxes." And they showed him the coin, and then he asked, "Whose portrait is this on the coin? Whose inscription is it?" And then they replied and said, "It is Caesar's." And then Jesus said, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." Now, what does this message mean? What does it exemplify? Well, we can look at it in two different ways. If we dissect the message and look at the first phrase, which is "give to Caesar what is Caesar's," we can look at the material aspect of life, our necessities in this world. And the denarius, the coin used at the time, represented what we need in order to effect things in the material life. And give to God what is God's essentially means recognizing our spiritual essence as beings incarnated in a temporal existence on this planet to learn. And these two are mutually exclusive because they work with one another. Sure, we have a lot of laws and taxations and impositions with which we do not agree in this world, but we have to remember that we are incarnated here because we signed a contract up there before coming back here, saying that we agree to go through life in this world, to go through the trials of this world, because this scenario known as Earth that God provided us as part of a divine project, an amazing project which we're not aware of, that gives us all the tools and instruments that we need in order to effect the true life that we need to effect, which is the ascension of the Spirit, which is earning the transcendental virtues of the Spirit, morality, love, charity, and all of those things. So when we give to Caesar what is Caesar's, when we live our material life in accordance with the divine laws, when we help our friends, when we pay respect to the society in which we live, to the friends who communicate with us, who work with us, to our family members with which we incarnate in order to amend whatever wrongs we may have committed with them, this is what give to Caesar what is Caesar's means. Because when we are in this material life, if we do the right things, if we take the righteous path, we are actually also contributing to the life that God gave to us. Because once we enact all of the good deeds that we're supposed to in this life, we're also transcending. So in essence, when we donate to Caesar, we're also donating to God. Because if I have a contract with someone in exchange for a service, and they render that service, I'm going to pay them with that denarius, right? I'm going to give to Caesar what is Caesar's. And then that person now has a denarius to give to someone else that renders him a service, and so on and so forth, until you have thousands, millions, billions, trillions of voluntary exchanges that go on in this world every second. And this is what helps humanity to progress. It raises the standard of humanity upwards, because now everybody has something with which to effect their material life. Because humanity, even though we may think the earth is in a terrible position right now, it is not. It is so much better. There is so much less famine, poverty, illnesses, diseases than just 150 years ago. So this is what this passage exemplifies. It is effecting the laws of God in the material life. And Kardec, he brings us a small passage that is item 7 on the same chapter. And he says that this particular passage from Jesus is an expansion of do to others as you would want others to do to you, or act towards others as you would want others to act towards you. And in this, he adds, this passage commands that we respect the rights of every person, just as we want everyone to respect ours. It also extends our obligations beyond separate individuals to include our families, society, and authority. So let us abide by the scenario that was presented to us in this life. Let us not rebel against it, because it is something much greater. We may not agree with it, but we need to be here for a reason. We were incarnated here for a reason. We are in this life for a reason. It is a grandiose project. It is a project that we need to be a good part of it. We need to do the right things in order to actually help and contribute to God and help Him in helping everyone to ascend and to progress. Thank you very much.